Amilcar, how you doing?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Victor. I'm doing well. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be
We're
here with
here
you.
again. We're here again with Metropolitan, speaking to a mover and shaker in the city, a fellow ambassador of the city with the International Community
Yes.
Day bunch. And I wanted to take the chance to say thank you and give people a chance to meet all the great work that you are doing, or get to understand some of the fantastic work that you are doing there at the Casa Batlló. But for some people who are not lucky enough to live in the city or have visited, we're going to be putting this to a lot of our followers in the United States. I was hoping that you could explain a little bit about yourself, like with your name, as well as what the Casa Batlló is.
Well, thank you, Victor, for this introduction. My name is Amilcar Vargas. I'm originally from Veracruz in Mexico, and I have been working on and dealing with UNESCO World Heritage sites since I was 19 years old. That was almost 25 years ago, and I arrived in Barcelona in 2012, and I joined the Casa Batlló team for the first time in 2013. At that time, I was in charge of dealing with a UNESCO report and a strategic management plan. And then I moved to continue my studies on master degrees and PhD on heritage management, world heritage management. And I came back to Casa Batlló team in 2018 as a world heritage manager, which means to be in charge of all the issues related with the UNESCO designation and all the responsibilities we have to do in uh, as just for the fact of being part of the UNESCO World Heritage List. And then, yeah, this is what I do
Okay.
specifically, generally speaking.
Well, let me ask you this. Sorry, I think we kind of got ahead of ourselves. What is the Casa Batlló?
Well, Casa Batlló is a property built by Anthony Gaudí, and Casablanca is now a cultural experience. Is a place where we want to offer an inspiration to the people and to let them imagine and to transport them to a different time and to a different place out of this world, but also giving them one of the most unforgettable memories of their lives. I'm not overpromising, I swear.
Well, the Casa is one of Antoni Gaudí's greatest
Yeah.
works, and it is based right in the middle of the city on Paseo de Gracia, a
Yeah, yeah.
splendid avenue with the I guess the top names in I guess in retail. The finest shops around the world
Mhm.
are based right here, and in
Yeah.
the middle of it all is this beautiful architectural wonder. And your role there is to work with the UNESCO. So, what do you think
Mhm.
has been your biggest challenge in your line of work there?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is to deal with the heritage conservation and the presentation to the world. So we have around 1 million visitors per year. They are coming from more than 150 different countries, and how to deal with that amount of people and giving them an unforgettable emotional and unforgettable experience. So for dealing with the heritage conservation, we have a large group of specialists in charge of any single material we have in the house: wood, stone, ceramics, tiles, etc., etc. And then we have as well the storytelling that aims to be very emotional, but also a lot of user non-specialist friendly. So we want that people, even if they don't know who, what Gaudi, where is Barcelona, or what is the history of the house, they can they can learn at the same time. They enjoy a visit, and they are having an unforgettable memory. So I think that's a very big challenge because protecting heritage is easy, well, so to speak, but to engage with new generations, people who they are native digital people or they are seniors. So how can we deal with different nationalities, different languages, with different backgrounds? That is one of the largest challenges we have. And we have it every day.
Okay, and so what kind of feedback have you been getting?
Well, before the pandemic and before we reopened in 2021, we used to have a net promoter score, what is called NPS, of 7.5. And now we have a 9.2. So the feedback has been overwhelming. So the current immersive experience with the immersive room, Gaudi Dome and Gaudi Cube, and the merging, the very kind merge of the current cutting edge technology with the heritage conservation, it's has been very well perceived by the visitor. So not just the NPS has increased, but also the feedback from different backgrounds, heritage specialists, heritage storyteller, world heritage site managers, Gaudi properties has been very positive. And I think even we have for 2021, we had the congratulations from UNESCO, which is something very outstanding. So from too many people from different backgrounds and nationalities, we have been receiving a very positive feedback.
Okay. And you'd mentioned being a little bit disruptive before. So, how disruptive is the Casa Batlló immersive visit in the World Heritage sector?
Well, it is very disruptive in two ways. The first is the introduction of cutting-edge technology, LEDs, internal mappings, indoors mappings, and screens with movement detectors that activates different things in during the visits. Um, so from one perspective, we have been very disruptive because we have integrated the cutting edge technology with the heritage conservation. And in the second area, I think we are being very disruptive is in the storytelling. So we are telling an emotional story, not just an architectural tour that describes things. So we are thanks to the audio guide, which also a technological digital innovation that we have it in 15 different languages. We have introduced a masterpiece of a storytelling that has three layers. The layers of the writing, so the story, the word by word, how we use the speech, and the second layer is the architecture. So we are moving from room by room, following the
Uh-huh.
storytelling. But the third one is probably the most deep of them, which is the music. So we have created an orchestra symphony that is inspired in the house, and any single room has a different part of this symphony. So we are probably the first World Heritage site that has a soundtrack. So we can even do the visit just listening to this classical music composition. So in the way of technology and in the way of storytelling, we have been very disruptive.
Okay. And are there any trends that you can share with us in the, I guess, in your world of museums and heritage sites worldwide?
Well, one of the things we are facing in the world of World Heritage Sites and Museums is how can we engage with the new social challenges. So we have museums in the 19th century or even before were a collection. So they were the places where to collect things, historical things, artistic things, paintings, sculptures, etc., etc. But currently, it's a challenge, of course, to still protecting these heritage, these collections. But the challenge is currently is how we engage, how can we create a storytelling that can engage with visitors of many different topics. So now we are facing in the museums and heritage sector, how can we support, for instance, the sustainable development goals? How can we engage with historically segregated or discriminated collectives? So Black people, LGBTQ communities, and or underrepresented part of the society, gender equality, or now also environmental challenges. So how from a museum can we contribute to the improvement of the society? And that's why one of the trends now is that beyond the beyond the day by day heritage conservation.
I see. Okay. And can you talk about a little bit more about the relation of Casa Batlló with the other works of Antoni Gaudí?
Yeah, well, since 2005, when Casa Batlló was inscribed in the UNESCO World Heritage List as part of the works of Antoni Gaudí, so we have been seven properties inscribed in the list. Um, Three of them were inscribed in 1984: the Casa Milà, the Palau Güell, and the Park Güell. And in 2005, Casa Batlló, Casa Vicens, one part of the Sagrada Familia, and the crypt of the Wells colony joined the list. So we collaborate with them in the report for UNESCO. We also collaborate with them and also with other Gaudi properties that are not in the World Heritage List, for instance, the Torre Belles Guard or the Finca Miralles or the Teresianas School. They were made by Antoni Gaudí, but they are not in the UNESCO list, and we are part of the Gaudi Council. So the Gaudi Council is a group of that or a project that led by the Catalan government that tried to create synergies and collaborations between all the Gaudi's properties owners and managers. And that's how we exchange information. We deal with different topics that are of common interest over tourism or heritage conservation, or right now, how can we are gonna celebrate the first century of the death of Antoni Gaudí, which will happen in 2026.
Wow. Okay. You have a lot going on then.
Yeah, yeah, indeed, indeed. Of course, we have a WhatsApp group of all these sites managed, which is very interesting because some of the requests we receive or others received, we want to double check if they are really doing something serious in the different stakeholders that contact all the Gaudi properties.
Okay. And what is the contribution of Casa Batlló to the world of museums?
We are contributing with an innovative and breathtaking experience. So we are contributing to show the world how can we introduce cutting edge technology while preserving with artisanal techniques the heritage, the world heritage. So I think this is one of the most important contributions we are doing now, and also we're also contributing with a private heritage management model. So the owners of the house, which are members of local community from Barcelona, they are a family very empowered with the house they have as owners, and they are very proud of it, and they want also well to express that from the private sector we can do things for a public benefit. Yeah, so and that is
Okay.
very outstanding because most of the heritage sites worldwide are on public hands, local governments, regional governments, national governments, but just few private institutions, private can or are dealing with these world heritage or heritage sites.
Okay. And along those lines, what are the values of these World Heritage sites, in particular with Gaudi?
Yeah, that's a good question because too many people come to the houses of Gaudi and the churches, but few people know why they are in the UNESCO World Heritage List. And we can resume these values in three sentences. The first one is that the works of Antoni Gaudí are an outstanding example of genius creativity. The genius creativity, the endless genius creativity of Antoni Gaudí is in any single Gaudi properties in the UNESCO World Heritage List. The second sentence is that Antoni Gaudí did an outstanding contribution to the universal architecture. He was very innovative in the construction techniques, designing techniques, and he did an outstanding merging of tradition and innovation. So here in this house and in all the county properties, he was able to merge the past and the future at the same time, which even today is really outstanding. So that's the second. And the third one is that the seven Gaudi properties are an outstanding example of the diversity of the modernist style architecture in the world. Because of these three reasons, these seven properties have been inscribed in the UNESCO World Heritage List.
Okay. No, I like a phrase that you shared with me once about the past, the present, and the future. Do you
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
with that?
Yes, yes. Actually, I have to quote to my colleague Maria Bernat, who wrote it. Um, Casabadio preserves the past, challenges the present, and curates the future.
I love when you say that. So, what is how has the house changed, say, in the last 5 years for people who actually do live here and have been to the Casa Batlló several times, but it's been maybe 10 years since you went. Um, what is different now?
Well, I joined Casabadio 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago in 2018, so time flies. And in these 5 years, Casabadio radically changed the itinerary, the storytelling, and we did the most deep restoration of the whole building, including the iconic facade that we have here. Um, so we have changed, we have improved a lot the interiors. We have recovered several missing components of the house. During the restoration, we have reproduced some of the missing parts, as the hooks for hanging frames, some wood protectors in the walls, and we recovered the original stuccos in indoor. And recently, we have finished the restoration of the gate at the entrance of the house, and also one part of the noble staircase. And we have doing very outstanding findings thanks to the research on heritage materials. And we have found paper gold in the staircase and in several parts of the house, and we are recovering that part that we're missing. So we are a house that even today can improve part of the authenticity that was missing in the 20th century.
So, even though the house is over 100 years old, um,
Yeah, it's from
it's
1904.
it's continuously innovating. You guys are integrating technology. You guys have you haven't even um, shied away from integrating some of these new NFTs and things. I don't know if you want to mention
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Well, we have been this for the first UNESCO World Heritage site as having an NFT, so as a site. So it's very interesting because we have an NFT because it's the result of the intervention of the Turkish artist Refik Anadol, and the raw material he used for shaping and drafting the NFT was the digitalization with the scanning we did, the deep scanning we did of the facade in 2018 and 19. So with that raw material that we use for heritage conservation, he created a non-fungible token that was auctioned in Christie's in New York last May. Actually, it's about 10, no, 11 months ago. It was auctioned in Christie's, and so it's really outstanding. So for the to have the NFT of Casa Batlló was a milestone of our history, which is innovative, disruptive, but also beautiful and functional because the current owner of the NFT has of course has put this NFT in one of the metaverses that they have a field or a space there. So in that sense, is how can we as a site managers how can we engage with the metaverse, which is mind blowing, honestly. Even for us, 5 years ago, we couldn't even imagine to have an NFT of Casa Batlló, but now we have it, and we are now moving forward on the digital art world. So this year you will hear a lot of Casa Batlló on conferences and digital art exhibitions, etc.
Wow, that's wonderful stuff. One question: who are all these people in the background?
Well, these are our kind visitors that they are listening to the audio guide. So these are the people in the background. So here we are on the fourth floor of Casa Batlló. So on the fifth floor is where it continues the visit, and then we have the rooftop. That's why you see so much light because it's coming from the top, which is very close from here.
Well, he was a genius, but you're a bit of a genius too because you transmit your passion for the Casa Batlló, your knowledge for world, the World Heritage and the UNESCO mission. And I wanted to thank you so much for being so kind with Metropolitan and always trying to improve the experience for the international community here in Barcelona. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Well, I would like to say thank you so much, and to send regards to all your international audience. And I invite you to take your time, to take the time from you to visit this amazing house. That for sure it will be unforgettable, and it will keep the memory of this, of the visit of Casaballo, will stay on your, not just on your eyes and your brain, but also on your heart for sure, and in your soul and spirit, because it's really really lovely.
So, from an intern to the director of the UNESCO World Heritage work. What a great story. Anyway, thank you so
Yeah.
much, amigo. And I will be seeing you soon.
See you soon.
Talk to you then.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Adeo.